how I got into NYU. I feel like every time I make a video, my hair is like 2 inches longer, but we're just gonna roll with that because I am lazy and don't make videos as often as I should. So basically, this is just gonna be the story of how I got into NYU and why I wanted to go to this school, my stats, my essays, basically everything I've been being asked about. Because actually, super surprisingly, I commented on, so I found out on Thursday that I got in early decision, and through NYU's Instagram page, they kind of had a little post and it was like, oh, congrats to everyone who got in early decision today. And I commented, like, I was super excited and super happy, of course, like all my hard work has paid off. So I commented like, wow, like I got in, like I really did that, or like something along those lines. And I surprisingly got a lot of DMs from random people asking me like how I got in, what I did, both from students that were rejected and also from students who have not yet applied, because I did apply early decision. And I believe NYU's regular decision is around January 1st, while regular decision is November 1st. So this video is just to kind of help those people out who have not yet applied or are looking to see if maybe they are qualified to apply to NYU. So I just thought this would be a great helpful video to make. Before I get into like my own personal credentials and how I got in, I did apply to Stern School of Business. I've just always had like a business mindset, and I've been wanting to go to NYU since like sophomore year. So I decided to apply to Stern, and I debated applying because I wanted to go to NYU no matter what. So I kind of debated applying to liberal arts and Stern just because Stern is so hard to get into. But I said, you know what, Julia, like you got this and you can get into Stern and you're applying to Stern. So I did that. So yeah, apply to the program that you want to study, not necessarily the program that you think is gonna get you the most likely to get into the school. Because ultimately, if you're at the school you love, but you're not studying something you like why go to that school? Like you're gonna have a terrible time, you know? So yeah, follow the path, the educational path that you want to go down instead of focusing on just the school. Probably what you wanna hear about is my grades and whatnot. Is that what I'm supposed to say now? Okay, so basically, my GPA is fairly high, 4.2 cumulative weighted. And then all of high school, I took like the highest courses I could. So freshman year, I took a few honors classes, the most I could. Sophomore year, same thing. I was always ahead in math, so I took pre-calc my sophomore year, and then I took calculus junior year. And I'm currently in AP Stats because I wasn't down to take the BC route in calc. But those are the classes I took for the most part. And then junior and senior year have been completely full IB, working towards the IB diploma. So I am a full IB student. So it's kind of, my perspective is from an IB perspective. So if you're AP, I don't know how that would affect your chances of getting in. All I know is that that's what I did. Just submitting my test scores. I took an SAT without studying at all, and I got a 1330, but my mom offered to get me some ACT tutoring, and I ended up taking the ACT as well, and I took the ACT and got a 29, which is like an alright score. Like both of my scores, like my SAT and my ACT scores, they're not the greatest, like especially for Stern. Like I looked it up, compared to everyone else who gets in, like it's towards the lower end of average, you know, for Stern specifically. A lot of people with like 1,500 SATs get rejected from Stern. So I was like really shook about that, just because I know that my test scores were not as high as other people who applied to the program were. But yeah, so those are my test scores. I also submitted my IB predicted scores, which I don't know what those were, so I can't tell you because my IB coordinator wasn't allowed to tell me. But basically, I just asked her like, hey, like NYU takes predicted scores, because not all schools take predicted scores for IB. But there was an option on the Common App, so I printed out a form from the NYU website, and I had her like fill it out, and she sent it off, I think electronically. And it just had like the predicted scores I would get at the end of the year when I do take those tests, because I have not taken the tests yet. So I sent those. So I ended up sending a total of 3 standardized testing scores, and that was my SAT, my ACT, and my IB predicted score, which I don't know. But my IB coordinator did tell me they were good. She said, I'm not allowed to tell you what they are, but they're good. So there's that. And then I did mention that my GPA was around 4.2. That put me at rank 34 out of about 560 students. So I had that going for me, my GPA. That was probably an advantage as well. And then I'm going to talk about things that you can't really control. So like demographics, background, stuff like that. So I do come from a single parent family household. My first language was Spanish. Yeah, so I'm Mexican American. Yeah, that's basically it there in that realm. And now I'm going to talk about like the essays, so like the Common App essay and the supplemental and my activities in high school. So my supplemental, well actually I'll start with the Common App essay. So my Common App essay was basically just about how I love clothing and style, and I've loved it from a young age. I actually linked it to a time I threw a tantrum in a Nordstrom department store, and how my view on the world is very influenced by my passion and my hobbies. So the way I communicate with other people and the way I react in certain situations is very influenced by my love and passion for clothing and style. And I'd say that the best advice I can give you on the Common App essay is honestly, to just be yourself, because like I said, my test scores were not as high compared to other people who probably got into Stern, but because I showed them my own passion and what I truly enjoy to do and linked it to what I want to study, I think that helped a lot in my application. So that was my Common App essay. Just stick to what you love and who you are, and don't try to portray an image of yourself of what you think the admissions committee wants to see. Just truly be yourself. And then my Why NYU essay. So the Why NYU essay, I think it took a little bit less time for me to write than my Common App essay, but I kind of just like word vomited on paper, and I thought it was really terrible actually, but then I had a few people read it and they're like, this is good, what are you talking about? But I thought it was kind of trash at first. I obviously cleaned it up and I was proud of it in the end. But what I talked about there was just how I obviously want to start a business, and I linked it again to fashion, but a main part of it was that I work at an Indian food restaurant, and at this Indian food restaurant they speak like 4 different languages in the kitchen, and everyone still understands each other. And I talked about that and how in New York there's a very similar atmosphere where there's all these backgrounds and all this culture, all these languages that are being spoken, and how that could influence my business in a positive way, because everyone is looking at something from a different perspective and a different mindset, and how I just want to be in that environment, and I think my business could thrive in that environment. And that's what my Why NYU essay was about. I'm going to go into the activities I participated in high school, and this is just my own experience. I'm not sure, I'm not admissions, I don't know exactly what they're looking for, but from my own experience, what I kind of understood is that you should have a lot of activities that are very interesting and unique, and not a lot of other people do, which is obviously the case for most colleges, but I think NYU is really looking for a certain type of person. So yeah, I'm just going to share my extracurriculars that I put on my Common App. I'll just read them off. Alright, so this is for Art Start, which is just like something I've done since sophomore year up until now. I still do it, and it's just like a service project where we go to elementary schools and teach kids about art and do like lessons and things. That's a big extracurricular that I spent a lot of time on. I also have cheer, which I did all 4 years of high school. And I guess that's kind of interesting. I don't know if there are many cheerleaders who apply to business schools, but there's that, so that's kind of interesting, I guess. Activity 3, we have publicity officer for the National Honor Society. That is just high school, or that is just senior year, sorry, because my school only offers it senior year, so National Honor Society. I also put in my job, so I just said that I'm a server and a hostess at my work, and yes, so there's that. And then it also said that I have an online clothing shop, which is probably honestly like the biggest factor in that they considered, because it is Stern business, and this is like a small low-key business that I have where I sell clothes online on Depop. I'm a freshman mentor, so incoming freshmen, I'll kind of guide them around the school and do lessons with them too, just about how to kind of manage their high school life. And then activity 7. This is just, I mentioned that I spin and cycle at my local gym. So that's another big thing, is just kind of like mention like everything. Like, at least that's what I did. So just because like it doesn't seem that significant, it's still something you do, and it's still going to set you apart from other people that apply. Activity 8. Yeah, so for over the summer, there was a Catholic church, and one of my old mentors who taught me how to sew, she was like, hey, do you want to come help out and watch these kids who like don't have any childcare? So I just watched them for like an hour every Wednesday, and it was super easy, but I still put it on my Common App because why not? Oh yeah, and then my 9th activity was I mentioned that I was a Los Angeles County National History Day contestant, which just means that I made like a historical documentary, and it was chosen to move on in a contest, so that was cool. I hope you learned something from watching this video. If you're applying to NYU or not, I hope I could give you some good college application tips. But yeah, like I said, just be yourself. I think that's the most important thing, because you've done all the hard work. You just have to show the colleges who you are and why that hard work matters. And yeah, I'm super excited, and I'll hopefully share more like college tips and vlogs, even things that aren't college related, just because I do want to get into YouTube more now that I'm kind of in a school and I'm settled and I can chill out a bit. So hopefully that happens. I can't make any promises, but I'm definitely going to make more of an effort to make videos. And yeah, so please leave a comment, a like, subscribe. Let me know if you have any additional questions that I didn't address in the video. I'd love to answer them for you. And yeah, have a wonderful day and farewell.